What if the person security's harassing turns out to own the very technology they're using against him? And what if that technology's failure exposes everything they tried to hide? This is the story of Damon Reed, a 42-year-old black CEO of Cybersecure Systems, a company that provides security technology to airports worldwide. And on a Wednesday morning in June, he walked through security at an airport that used his own company's equipment and was flagged as a high-risk threat. But here's the part that sounds like it's straight out of a movie. Picture this. You designed the security scanners. You wrote some of the algorithms. Your company logo is literally printed on the machines. But when you walk through, alarms go off. Guards surround you. You're pulled into a private screening room. And when you try to explain who you are, they don't believe you. They think you're lying. They think you're trying to talk your way out of trouble. They treat you like a criminal while your business card sits in your wallet with the title CEO printed right under your name. For 37 minutes, Damon endured what he'd only read about in discrimination reports. The invasive searches, the aggressive questioning, the assumption of guilt. And through it all, he stayed calm. Because he knew something they didn't. He knew exactly how the system worked. He knew its weaknesses, and he knew that in about 8 minutes, a scheduled software update was going to trigger a cascade failure that would shut down security screening across the entire airport. When that system crashed, it didn't just vindicate him. It exposed a pattern of targeting that his own company's equipment had been documenting for months. Data that airport security had been ignoring. Data that showed exactly who was being flagged and why. So how does a black CEO get racially profiled by technology his own company created? What did that system crash reveal? And what happened when he decided to fight back? This story has layers you won't believe. Let's dive in. June 18th, 2024. Chicago O'Hare International Airport. Terminal 3, 7:22 a.m. Damon Reed was heading to Seattle for a major tech conference where his company was unveiling their latest security innovations. He'd flown out of O'Hare hundreds of times. This was routine, or it should have been. He arrived at security at 7:15 a.m. with just his laptop bag and a carry-on. TSA PreCheck meant he kept his shoes on, his laptop in his bag. Easy. He designed parts of this process himself. He placed his bag on the conveyor belt, walked through the metal detector, and waited on the other side. That's when everything changed. The body scanner operator, a man named Derek Hughes, was staring at his screen with an expression Damon recognized immediately. Confusion mixed with suspicion. Derek called over his supervisor, a woman named Linda Martinez. They huddled around the screen, speaking in hushed tones. Then Linda approached Damon. "Sir, we need to conduct additional screening." Damon had expected this might happen someday. As a black man in tech, he'd heard countless stories, but experiencing it firsthand hit different. "Is there a problem with the scan?" he asked calmly. "The system flagged you for secondary screening. Please come with me." Damon followed her to a private screening area, aware of other passengers staring. 2 more TSA agents joined them. His bag was hand-searched thoroughly, every item removed and examined. His laptop was swabbed for explosives. His shoes were inspected. Then came the pat-down. Aggressive, thorough, invasive. "Sir, can you explain the purpose of your travel?" "I'm attending a tech conference in Seattle." "What kind of tech conference?" "Airport security technology, actually." Damon couldn't help the slight irony in his tone. Linda's eyes narrowed. "You work in airport security?" "I'm the CEO of Cybersecure Systems. We manufacture some of the scanning equipment you're using right now." The agents exchanged glances, but instead of backing down, they doubled down. "Sir, do you have proof of that?" Damon pulled out his business card. Linda examined it like it might be fake. She Googled his company on her phone. She even asked him technical questions about security systems, as if she were trying to catch him in a lie. Here's what was happening behind the scenes that Damon understood, but they didn't. The body scanner had flagged him based on an anomaly detection algorithm. But what triggers an anomaly? The system compares each scan against a baseline of normal patterns, and if that baseline is trained primarily on white bodies, anyone who looks different can register as abnormal. Damon had written papers about this. He'd presented at conferences about algorithmic bias in security systems. He'd warned his own clients about it, and now he was living it. "I need to speak with your supervisor," Damon said firmly but calmly. "I am the supervisor." "Then I need to speak with airport security management, because what's happening right now is racial profiling, and I'm documenting every second of it." Linda's jaw tightened. "Sir, if you don't cooperate—" "I am cooperating. I've submitted to your search, I've answered your questions, I've shown you my identification, but I'm also aware of my rights, and I'm aware that your system is biased. I literally designed parts of it." At 7:47 a.m., 32 minutes into this ordeal, a TSA manager named Robert Chen arrived. He'd been called because the situation was escalating. He reviewed everything: Damon's ID, his business card, the scan results, the search findings. Everything was clean. No contraband, no weapons, no explosives. Nothing. The crash was immediate and total. Body scanners, X-ray machines, metal detectors, all powered by cybersecure systems technology, all connected to the same network, all receiving the same failed update simultaneously. Alarms didn't go off, the screens just froze, then went black. Across Terminal 3, security screening ground to a complete halt. TSA agents scrambled, passengers groaned. Lines that were already long became chaos, and in the private screening room, Linda and Derek suddenly had much bigger problems than Damon Reed. Robert Chen's radio erupted with urgent calls. "All scanners down in Terminal 3. We need IT support immediately." Damon watched the panic unfold and made a decision. "I can help." Robert turned to him. "What?" "I said I can help. This is my company's equipment. I know what just happened, and I know how to access the diagnostic system." Robert hesitated. This was the man they just detained for 30 minutes, but with hundreds of passengers backing up and a security nightmare unfolding, he didn't have many options. "What do you need?" "Access to your network operations center, and someone who can authorize temporary admin access to the system." 15 minutes later, Damon was in the airport's security operations center, surrounded by TSA officials and IT staff. He logged into the diagnostic interface, something he designed himself, and immediately saw the problem. The software update had a bug that conflicted with the local configuration. But while he was fixing it, Damon noticed something else, something that made his jaw clench. The system kept detailed logs, every scan, every flag, every anomaly detection. And the data told a story that airport security had apparently been ignoring for months. "Can I pull up the flagging reports from the past 90 days? Damon asked the IT manager. "Why?" "Because I think there's something you need to see." The report showed exactly what Damon suspected. In Terminal 3 alone, over the past 3 months, 2,847 passengers had been flagged for additional screening by the automated system. Of those, 2,203 were people of color. That's 77%. Black passengers were flagged at a rate 6.4 times higher than white passengers, even when controlling for travel patterns, baggage contents, and behavior. The system wasn't just biased, it was systematically discriminatory. And it had been generating these reports every week. Someone in airport security was receiving them, and they'd done nothing. Damon looked at Robert Chen. "You've been getting these reports, haven't you?" Robert's face said everything. "These analytics are automatically generated. They're sent to TSA management every Monday morning. You've known for months that this system disproportionately targets people of color, and you've done nothing to correct it." The room went silent. Damon fixed the technical issue within 20 minutes. The scanners came back online, security resumed, but he wasn't done. He copied the discrimination data, with proper authorization, for his records. He documented everything that had happened to him, and then he sent a detailed report to his company's board, to civil rights organizations, and to journalists he'd worked with on algorithmic bias stories. By the time his flight landed in Seattle, the story was already breaking. CEO profiled by his own technology made national headlines. The data he exposed forced a nationwide conversation about bias in security systems. O'Hare released a statement promising comprehensive review of screening procedures, but Damon didn't wait for promises. He initiated a company-wide audit of every cybersecure system in every airport, and he made the results public. Because if his own technology was perpetuating discrimination, he was going to fix it, publicly, completely, and with full accountability.
Here's what makes this story so important. Damon Reed didn't just expose discrimination at one airport. He exposed a systemic problem with security technology that his own company had helped create. And instead of hiding from it or making excuses, he forced his entire industry to confront it. Within 6 months, cybersecure systems had completely overhauled their algorithms. They diversified their training data, implemented bias detection systems, and created an independent oversight board to review flagging patterns. Other security companies were forced to do the same or risk losing contracts. The TSA issued new guidelines requiring regular audits of automated screening systems for discriminatory patterns. Several airports faced lawsuits, and passengers who'd been unfairly targeted finally had data to support what they'd been saying all along. But here's what Damon said in an interview that really stuck with me. "I had the privilege of understanding the system, the resources to fight it, and the platform to expose it. Most people who experience this have none of those things. They just get treated like criminals and told it's for their safety." That's the real story. Technology isn't neutral. It reflects the biases of the people who create it and the systems that deploy it. And without accountability, those biases get scaled to millions of people. If this story matters to you, subscribe and hit that notification bell. I cover these stories every week because transparency and accountability don't happen by accident. Drop a comment. Do you think AI and automated systems in security make us safer or just scale existing bias? Share this video because every time we expose these patterns, we force the industry to do better. Damon Reed got profiled by his own technology, but he turned that into accountability that changed an entire industry. What will you do next time you see injustice? Thanks for watching.